Sometimes one of the first things that sparks an interest in psychology for people and motivates them to begin exploring it for themselves are mental disorders. You may have been fascinated by a powerful film that portrayed a mental illness, such as A Beautiful Mind or The Aviator. Other times, it's much closer to home. Friends or family members you know may be struggling, or perhaps it's more personal still. The psychology books on this list will cover a range of topics, including depression, anxiety, and OCD, and one of the books you may find surprising to be on the list. If you're interested in any of these books, you'll find links in the description below. First on the list is the book Lost Connections: Why You're Depressed and How to Find Hope by Johann Hari. This book explores the root causes of depression and offers ways to overcome it. The author argues that the mainstream approach to treating depression, which relies heavily on medication, fails to address the underlying societal and personal factors that contribute to depression. It examines various studies and research to show that depression is not just a chemical imbalance in the brain, but rather a result of disconnection from meaningful work, meaningful relationships, a sense of control over one's life, and other intrinsic human needs. He also looks at how our modern society, with its emphasis on materialism, individualism, and disconnection from nature, contributes to the epidemic of depression and anxiety. As such, the book offers a path towards healing through a reconnection with these lost connections, and offers examples of people who have successfully overcome depression by addressing these underlying issues. Overall, Lost Connections offers a thought-provoking and compassionate look at depression and its root causes. However, it is worth noting that there has been a lot of pushback in response to his book, which you may be interested in to explore after you've read it. I'll link below some of these if you want to see those responses. But nevertheless, this book opens up the issue for you to explore, and as with all books, you always want to be a critical reader and assess the claims it makes for yourself. If you're looking for a book that will make you critically consider the factors involved in depression, this may be the book for you. Our next book is Unwinding Anxiety: Train Your Brain to Heal Your Mind by Dr. Judson Brewer. Judson Brewer is a renowned psychiatrist and addiction expert. The book provides practical guidance on how to break free from the cycle of anxiety and negative thinking patterns. He writes, "I want you to understand how your mind works and how much of the modern world is designed to create addictive behaviours and capitalise on them." The author argues that anxiety is a natural response to stress, but it can become chronic and debilitating when we try to avoid or control it. Instead of trying to eliminate anxiety, Brewer suggests that we should learn to unwind it by developing an awareness of our thoughts, feelings, and behaviours. He breaks the book into 4 parts, what he intriguingly calls Part 0 to Part 3. Part 0 teaches you the psychology and neuroscience of how anxiety is created so that you have a framework from which to start making changes. Part 1 shows you how to identify your own anxiety triggers. Part 2 helps you understand why we get stuck in cycles of worry and fear, and how we can use knowledge of how the brain works to become unstuck. And Part 3 teaches you some tools to break your own anxiety cycles. So if you're looking for a book to give some insight and help with dealing with your own anxiety, this might be a good book to explore. And if you're interested in habit formation and the role of the brain in such behaviours, you'll find this an informative read too. Our third book is Head First: A Psychiatrist's Stories of Mind and Body by Alastair Santhouse. As the title states, this book draws on the years of experience psychiatrist Dr. Alastair Santhouse has in treating thousands of patients. He shares a range of stories based around some of these patients to give us not only an insight into the work of a psychiatrist, but also to see how important the mind is in affecting physical health. For him, the head comes first. He argues that there is a problem with the medical model of treating ill health. This medical model, which dominates our culture today, views the body as a machine, and when things go wrong, when patients develop symptoms, that these will then be easily traced back to the organ or system at fault. But Dr. Santhouse argues that this medical model has failed us because it overlooks perhaps the single most important component of our health, our state of mind. He writes, "It is hard for us to conceive that when symptoms occur, when people experience pain or fatigue or dizziness, they can be both very real and yet not caused by any underlying problem with the body." According to Dr. Santhouse, our minds shape the way we understand and react to symptoms that we develop, dictate the treatments we receive, and influence whether they work. They even influence whether we develop symptoms at all. Overall, Head First is an informative and engaging book that provides readers with a deeper understanding of the brain and mental health, and does so in an engaging story-based format. Our fourth book is Because We Are Bad, OCD and a Girl Lost in Thought by Lily Bailey. This book is very different from any of the others on this list, because it's not written by people trying to treat a mental disorder, but by a sufferer. This book is a memoir by Lily Bailey that chronicles her struggles with obsessive-compulsive disorder from childhood to adulthood. She shares her personal experiences of the disorder, including the intense anxiety and intrusive thoughts that she experienced on a daily basis. I should say that this isn't an easy read at times. She struggled greatly and shares honestly some of her obsessive thoughts, which if you are not prepared for, may catch you off guard. But this is the real-life experience of someone suffering with OCD to a severe degree. The book delves into the stigma and misunderstanding surrounding OCD and how it can be misdiagnosed or dismissed as a minor issue. She discusses the impact of OCD on her relationships, on her education and her career, and how it affected her family and friends. Throughout the book, she shares her journey of seeking treatment for OCD, including therapy and medication, and the challenges she faced in finding the right support. Lily Bailey's candid description of her life shows what suffering with OCD can be really like. Overall, this book is a powerful and moving account of living with OCD, and the author's honest and raw storytelling offers a unique perspective on the disorder. Our last book is Why We Sleep: The New Science of Sleep and Dreams by Professor Matthew Walker. Now you might be thinking, I thought this list of books was about mental disorders, so why have you included a book about sleep? Sleep is such an important factor in mental health that Professor Walker states that over the past 20 years, researchers have not been able to discover a single psychiatric disorder where sleep is normal. This is true of depression, anxiety, PTSD, schizophrenia, and bipolar disorder. This suggests that there is a close relationship between your sleep health and your mental health. The book provides a comprehensive examination of the role of sleep in our lives, exploring the science behind why we sleep, the benefits of sleep, and the consequences of not getting enough sleep. Throughout the book, he describes the vital role that sleep plays in our physical and mental health, including its impact on memory, creativity, emotional regulation, and even our immune system. He also highlights the various negative health consequences that can result from sleep deprivation, such as mental health disorders. Overall, Why We Sleep provides a fascinating and informative exploration of the science of sleep, emphasizing the critical importance of sleep to our overall health and well-being. So, there are 5 books to help you explore different mental disorders. I'm keen to hear from you. What books on mental disorders would you recommend? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're looking for more book recommendations, check out this video on 5 books I recommend for those new to psychology. I hope you found this video helpful, and we'll see you in the next one.